suss out wherever we end up.
Yeah, because you by the time you're done, everyone's probably at different paces, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, and you got to take your own pace.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of running, during this time of the season, Catherine, so many women are saying they're running on empty. We can't add in another thing. We're struggling to balance work and family and church, and just
Yeah.
adding on one more thing just cannot do that. So then oftentimes what happens is they sideline their health. They thought, well,
Hmm.
then I can't add in anything more for to take care of me. And but from your experience, what's the first step to managing your energy instead of constantly reacting to the stress?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And thanks for asking that. So you're absolutely right. The first thing to do that typically happens is we totally lose sight of our own, our good, our proper eating and movement goes out the window because we try to find time to do everything, and it kind of gets just diluted into everything. My biggest thing is managing our expectations and getting aligned with our values. Are
That's
we going with, especially during the season, are we going after the worldly values that don't serve us? Um, and really think about what we want to look back on this holiday, on this year, and remember about, our holiday seasons.
mm,
Um, and kind of if you were to wave a magic wand, what would you have your holiday season look like,
oh, I like that.
And it's not so much, you don't want to think like, oh, well, if I had it exactly where I want to, I'd be having, you know, vacation on the beach at Christmas in the Bahamas. Not necessarily that, but what kind of family memories you want to have. How do you want to feel during the
Mm,
holidays? Or, do you want to be able to feel like you're um, invigorated and you're excited?
yeah.
Or, I've made this mistake in the past where, we season it up all holidays, where we were talking yesterday, you and Heather were talking yesterday that it's like maybe probably during the 7 weeks, there's probably about 5 days that you'll have something going on.
Right.
But I've made the mistake of not, having an accountability program to kind of keep you in there. And then
Mm,
by the time Christmas rolls around or the New Year's rolls around, you're like, I feel horrible because
yeah,
I've eaten crap and have not
yeah,
moved.
yeah.
Um,
And not taking care of yourself,
I'm
right?
not taking care of yourself. There's a great scripture I actually heard this morning. And I thought how perfect it was for this. It's from First Samuel chapter 16, verse 7, which states, the Lord does not see as man sees, for man looks to the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. So going to back to what the our values and what we're aligning with the holiday
Yeah.
season, are we trying to overextend ourselves like financially to like keep up with the Joneses, or feel like we have to, you know, be at every single Christmas party and make that certain, expression? Really hone in on what matters to us. Is it
Right.
that we make our kids Christmas play and we go to our best friend's Christmas party and we go to like the family events,
Yeah.
like put those into perspective of like those are the things that are gonna happen. And if the other stuff doesn't work out, then it just doesn't work out. It wasn't meant to be, right?
Right, right. Yeah, we need to make sure we're organizing those appropriately and
Hmm.
prioritizing the things that matter. So we could just say yes to everything is what you're saying,
Hmm.
but
Yep.
really we need to look and say, okay, what is going to help us in the long run eternally and what's going to
Yeah.
fulfill us and help us to remember this holiday in the right way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can see that. I've done that in the past where I've said yes to everything. And when I had littles, I have three boys. We did so much during the holidays with them that it was just like sometimes I felt like I just needed some downtime and I
Hmm.
needed to take care of myself. I didn't realize that the stuff I was putting into my body, though, was really what was making me feel awful too. So,
Yeah.
what we talked about in the other days, we want to
Yeah.
use that to help us as well. But prioritizing, I like that. Prioritizing what's going to serve us in the long run and make us remember the family memories the most. That's so great. And
Yeah.
as a
And
nurse, I was thinking, as a nurse and a wellness coach, you've seen firsthand how chronic stress affects not only our mood, but also our hormones and our metabolism
mhm.
and our sleep. So, how can
Yes.
women recognize when stress is taking over their health? So, like, how do they realize, well, I think I'm doing way too much? I think we know, but what are some things that are early signs to look out for?
So some early signs are definitely the sleep pattern starting to get
Mm,
off. Because what happens with the sleep pattern starts to get off, then your hormones will also get off, and you will notice the increase in hunger. So then you get hungry on those days that you slept poorly the night before, and it doesn't take long to go from hungry to
mm.
hangry.
Yeah.
And then, so, those are like the first couple of signs. The more of the chronic ones where it starts to play in like, like kind of like day in and day out, you'll start to see
Mm,
like your complexion doesn't look as great.
yeah.
You'll be like, what is this? I look like a teenager again. My skin is breaking out.
Mm,
And a lot of that can go from with like eating poorly too,
yeah.
but also those like cortisol stress.
Mm.
And then chronically over time, you'll start to see where the cortisol, you know, will start to give ladies or even men like the belly bulge,
Oh, wow.
where
Yeah.
you're like, no matter what I do, it doesn't go away.
Yeah.
But that's how the cortical steroids go, is that it's producing this hormone that keeps your blood sugar elevated, and it's going to make you store, because your body is telling your mind is thinking you're going to have a fight or flight
Yeah.
response to where you're
Yeah.
going to need that energy to go, so your body's storing it.
Boring. Instead of like releasing the fat is what we want to happen,
Yeah.
but it's the opposite that ends up happening. I know for me, and what I'm hearing is that sleep is number one.
Yes.
Almost like the most important thing that we can do is get ourselves some good sleep. And at 50, I am really starting to realize that. I used to
Hmm.
say in my younger years that sleep was a waste of time, Catherine. And I feel so bad that I used to say that because now in my 50s, I'm like, I'm valuing sleep so much
Yeah.
more. And I'm hearing that that is a key to helping control my stress levels and to helping me to eat healthier and to feel satiated in this also during the day. So I'm watching my sleep patterns.
Good, good. And like God tells us that we need Sabbath and we
Yeah,
need a day of rest,
yeah,
right?
that's
That
so
He's
true.
going to take care and provide. We need to really make sure we're honoring, like having a day of Sabbath, whether it's Sunday, because it doesn't necessarily have to be a Sunday, but we do need time to where we we Sabbath, we rest and we restore,
Mm,
and
yeah,
we trust that God's gonna get us
yeah.
through what needs to be done.
Yeah, I've recently heard a podcast on that and just on habits and things. I'm so glad I'm taking notes, by the way, because these are things that I, even as a coach, need. We all need these. And so I also listened to a podcast that talked about a Sabbath. It might not mean like a whole day of not doing anything.
Yeah.
It might mean for you, you're behind a desk all day. So then get out and actually spend time outside.
Oh
Um,
yeah, it can
so that
be
can be
doing. yeah,
Mm-hmm.
my preacher was talking like on his Sabbath day, what he does, what's restorative to him is going for a hike, and he hikes old
Mm,
rag.
that's so great. That's so great.
And
I love
he's
that.
like, it's a lot of work, but
Yeah.
it's like you were saying, it's not work.
Yeah,
And
that's restorative for him. That's so great.
mhm,
I love that. Well, in our Freedom Wellness Method, the management piece is we focus on a pillar called discipline and also on mindset. And so management, time management, and stress management kind of work into those as well. But you also have a Calm Your Chaos masterclass that you're going to be doing. Um,
yeah.
and what are some of these few simple daily rhythms that can help women create peace and consistency in their wellness?
So what Heather hit on last night was like exercise is definitely, I feel, where if we get it knocked out of the day. So there's two ways of looking at this really. If you get it taken care of in the morning, it boosts your endorphins. Studies have shown that you make better decisions with what you eat if you
Mm.
exercise in the morning.
Oh, wow.
Um, and then I find if I don't exercise in the morning, I use so much brain activity thinking about, oh, I need to exercise, or, making sure I get my exercise in. So, but then you could also say you play the other side of the coin is exercise is a way to unwind
Mm.
during the day. So you could look at it as doing some kind of purposeful movement
Oh, I like that.
both sides of the day to help. Um, Meditation is also very high on my list. I meditate every morning. Um, and it just it gives you that grounding
Yes. Yeah.
where you just need that that quiet time to just pull everything together
Yeah.
and not really have like ping, the racquetball brain where your thoughts are just going back and forth in your
Mm.
brain. Because if we think about it, a lot of the chaos that we have is chaos inside of our mind,
Mhm.
and it just projects out, right? Because
Right.
most often what we have going on inside projects out.
Yeah.
Um,
What do you meditate on?
so a lot of times I use the Insight timer, and it's a free timer. You can get it from the App Store. You can always upgrade, just like everything else. You can upgrade.
Yeah, right.
The free one does it well. When I first got into meditation, what I did was I needed some because my brain is like the little squirrel brain, it's going to go everywhere until it's trained not to. And what I would do like a 5 minute guided meditation. And then as I've, so I do that when my brain is very noisy. And I just kind of
Mm.
feel like I need to quiet my brain.
Mm.
But my average morning meditation is just a quiet, like I call it spa music, like,
Mhm.
and they have different different musics, different lengths. And what I like to do is whatever word that kind of comes to me. It could be mindfulness, it could be peace, it could be um strong, just whatever kind of word I feel like is kind of tugging at my heart that day. I just meditate on that word
Hmm.
for
Interesting.
however long. There's been times where I've used Bible verses and just kind of repeated a Bible verse in my head. Um,
I like that.
Especially when I was going through um, like when I was in the middle of an eating disorder, one of the things that words phrases that I would meditate on was like my body is a temple,
Mhm.
um, and kind of like repetition with that,
Yeah.
just to bring awareness to like for like
Mhm.
honoring my body, like this is like God has made this vessel, and
Yeah, that's so good.
so
I
and
love
it's
that.
really really interesting too because like you just like you let your mind go and you just think about this word and when you can get into deep meditations like you might see like you might see like a relaxing picture of the beach or you might see a
Mm,
tree. It
yeah.
is just you just get really into deep meditation.
Mm.
um
I really love I love prayer and Bible verses, especially to help calm my heart during that time. That's really great. It will help you with stress. So
yeah,
I love that it was only 5 minutes. So like when we're exercising, we say I can do anything for a minute. I can do anything for 20 seconds. I can do anything.
yeah.
Really, honestly, you can do anything for 5 minutes. So like in the morning when I wake up as well, I stretch and I pray and I thank God for the day. And that meditation alone just calms my heart because sometimes you wake up with that racing feeling like I've got to go, I've got to do this. And so taking that moment, like you said, to breathe and just rest and meditate is so important. I love that. And the holidays can bring so much joy, but also a lot of pressure between the
It is a
schedule.
lot of pressure.